Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Hump Day. Today is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is my turn to talk. Welcome, Brina. You're number one today. Welcome, Bahram. You are number two. And Frankie, you're lagging there, girl. You are number three. I know I was late. I know I was late. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying. Lot going on this morning. So, all right. Yeah, Brina. I guess it is. I guess it is. Okay. So, let's see. All right. So today, we are going to discuss, and I know the discussion is going to take an entirely different turn, but looking at yourself through other people's eyes. What or who do people see when they look at you? Should we change or do you think we're good? So, when I have topics, I probably have, and I kid you not, I probably have over 100 topics to do for this show because I'm constantly, every time I see something or if I'm out and about, I'll jot it down or put it in my phone or whatever, to create a topic. When I'm talking to my friends or whomever, I'm constantly, doing topics. And this one I've actually had for probably about the last 4 months. So over the weekend, I decided to finally do it. But this particular topic seems to have been relevant over the last couple of days. So that's what I want to talk about. How do people see you? You know, um, is anybody? Hmm, hold on for a second. Why? Oh, sorry. Let me get my microphone. It wasn't a headset. Okay, can you all hear me? Okay. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. My headset wasn't plugged in all the way. Okay, so when people look at you, what do you think they see? Do they see a nice person? Do they see a mean person? Do they see an asshole? Do they see someone who beats their dog? Do they see? I mean, what do they see? And do you care? And should you care? um, does it matter who you're talking about? Do you care if your family sees you one way and your friends see you a different way? Or are you one of those people who just no matter who it is, you care how people see you? um, do some people put on a facade, where they have one face, for the public, but then, when they go home or in private, there's one completely different. So does it matter um, how other people see you? And when you look at yourself through other people's eyes, do you like what you see? Do you like the person that is looking back through another person's lens? Um, you know, does it matter how people view you at work as compared to school, as compared to just everyday life when you're just sitting around talking? I mean, does it matter? And how people see you as a child, will that affect your personality when you get older? So those are the questions that I have. Welcome, Power Girl. Welcome, GP Man, and welcome, Petty Deb. All right. So on that note, I will open it up. If anybody wants to come on board, you are more than welcome. If not, I can just keep on keep on talking. So let's see. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, Baram. Okay, you are on the mic. You have the mic. Welcome.
Hi. So this topic is, for me, I think I don't really care what other people think unless I care about them. People in my family, people I love, people I respect, friends, obviously. That's when I start to care. Um, I think life's too short to start worrying about, you go into work, like I started a new job 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I can tell, I've already got a nickname, so obviously they're all going to be talking about me behind my back and saying, "Oh, the new guy," and they've been made comments and jokes about the length of my hair and things, which I mean, I think everyone knows it goes on. Like there's gossiping, there's things like that, and I don't care. I think when, like I said, when I start to care is when I care about that person, and then ultimately I care what they think of me. That's when that all changes.
Okay, so let me ask. So when you said the length of your hair, are you working with older people or more on people on the old school side, or who look
Yeah,
at things, a little differently, or are you like
yeah.
the only person with long hair? So
I think when you do see things here, I think it's maybe a culture. Like for me, it's in Scotland we're very. I don't know if it's a cultural thing or if it's because I'm in Scotland, but like even my friends, if you do something outrageous like dye your hair a certain color, or like I've done, I've grown out my hair quite long, and you get comments and things because I know for many reasons. I think just a conversation starter. They might poke fun at it, or um, because you're different to everyone else, they might say it. Um, so I fully expect these comments, but they don't bother me. It's not like I've obviously told you guys about having ginger. I don't think I've got ginger hair, but people think I do. Like I've got a ginger beard, so that comes with years of bullying in school, which I've learned to like me and Chill Will have both commented it before that we don't let comments like that bother us because the people who are saying them have no effect on our lives. If it was like my wife or my like when my nanny says it, like when I go up to visit my grandparent, my nanny, I call her, um, when I walk in the door and I can tell she's staring at my beard and not at my eyes, it gets me. Like it hurts me because it's like she, I love her and she's like my mom and I don't want her to think any bad of me. And the disgust in her eyes when she looks at my beard and my hair is like I get upset. I don't let her see that it gets me upset. But that's what I mean. People that I love and I care about when they say things about me, and I often worry about what they think about me and how they view me through their eyes. But if it's someone at work that I hardly know and I'm not going to bother with outside of work, I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all.
okay, I want to read something that Brina said. Brina, you always make comments that I always have to read. I like me, and I'm open to change if it's for positive. I think people see me as friendly yet a bit shy. I take my time when I get to know others, and it may come off as a bit snobbish to some. Um, okay, so and let's talk about that because I think some people assume, not all, but I think some people assume that people are snobs when they really aren't. Do people see people who are quiet as snobs? People who are shy, people who you know um, uh, prefer to sit in the corner as opposed to, sitting with the group, because they don't feel, like, they have anything to say, or, you know, and they are shy, but they come off as snobs. Why do we automatically want to, and I think that this is more true than not true, why do we automatically want to assume that someone's a snob as opposed to they're just quiet?
I mean, that takes a special type of person. I think not everyone's like that, but if they are, then I would look at their own character. Like, if you're being prejudiced or judging someone on, those types of things, especially after like 1 or 2 days of meeting them, or not even, there's some people that'll just have an instant, you know, look at someone and they'll have an opinion. And, I would say that these people they are the problem. Like they're obviously not nice people, to say the least. So I certainly wouldn't go and not be able to sleep at nights because some of these people think things of me. I just wouldn't waste my energy. My wife, she often comes home and she'll say how someone at work or something has annoyed her that day. And I've often said to her, don't let these people get to you, because then they're often, you're coming home, they've ruined your day, then you're coming home and ranting to me, which is what I'm for. And then like they've upset you in that way. So I don't let that happen. I don't let anyone affect my mood for the day other than myself. Other than like if it's my family or friends, then
Okay. All right. Now, Petty Deb, you said I have a resting bitch face. I don't know what that means, but I don't know if I call myself a bitch, but I don't know what that means. And let's see, Brandon says knowing about someone and knowing someone are different. It takes time to really know someone, and I don't just let anyone in my circle. That's absolutely true. So let's talk about the inner circle and then just that outer circle. Okay. We all have inner circles. We all have, and when I say that, I'm talking about friends who are really, really close, whatever. And then you just have, you know, friends, and then you have those people who you just know. So that inner circle, how do they see you? Do they see you differently from that outer circle? I mean, do you think that's
yeah.
possible?
Oh, definitely. I've always felt like the odd one in the group. I have, loads of friends back home, and we're in WhatsApp groups and group chats, and I'm more into politics and conspiracies and learning about like even like I generally question like how are we here? What's the meaning of life? Whereas 90% of my friends are like, why waste your time? Let's go out and get drunk. That's their attitude is just, let's talk about football. Let's talk about sports and what's on the TV and news and music. And have you heard the latest song that's on the charts? And I'm like, I'm not really interested in that. So there has been kind of a little divide, almost like an awkwardness when I go back home. There's some weirdness between us that lasts for maybe a few hours and then we're fine again. Some friends will reach out to me privately and ask questions because they're maybe more intrigued, but they're not, maybe a bit embarrassed to say it in the group chat. So yeah, there's definitely inner circle thoughts and things. I think there's a lot of and I think it's maybe uh the stereotype with like women, how women can be gossipy and bitchy and two-faced. Well, I would go against that and say that men are actually just as bad, because I've worked in big workshops, with workforces of like 40 or 50 men, and just about every day there's bitching and arguing and people not speaking to each other and people nearly fighting. So men are like that too. I think it comes with the territory when you're in each other's face all the time. You're working with each other for 8 to 12 hours a day. There's going to be all that, so you have to distance yourself, and that's why I say, like, we shouldn't really care too much about people's opinions on us. If you should look after your own mental health and your own stuff before that even comes into the question.
So, would you say that we should be self aware?
Um,
That's something. Let me just go ahead and say this. That
okay.
is something that we should all make sure that always that is something that we should always have our eyes open to. If that makes sense.
I mean, I think. Do you mean like with our actions and our words, like self-aware on
Well,
how
no,
we
no,
conduct ourselves?
no. I mean, well, not with actions, not with words, but more so with actions. That you know, if if you see someone needs help, you're going to help them, or um, you know, you're not going to be that kid at recess who always trips the girls when they come by. They just be aware of what aware that other people have their eyes open and that they're watching you. I guess
Yeah,
that's what
I
I mean.
mean, I think that's instilled for me. That was instilled in me from my grandparents from a young age. Like, always do what's right and wrong. Like, I could never leave my grandparents' house without, do what's right. Think twice before you act and all that kind of stuff. So that advice, although at the time it's like, oh, and you roll the eyes, and I'm not a kid anymore. It stuck with me. So, I'm always wary of situations and how I should act and conduct myself in the right manner, and what the repercussions would be. I think we've all got responsibility to act in a certain manner and do what's best for. I think what's going through my mind right now is the way I conduct myself online. With having a podcast, and I know that one day some of the things I put out there might be held against me. So I always think twice before I post something. And I think that's the way I always act in life too. Before I say something, I think, is this going to get me in trouble? Is this the right thing to say and do? So I think hopefully that's answered your question. I don't know if that's what you meant.
No. It did, but social media, takes how people view you to an entirely different level. I found out, last night that someone that I blocked about a month ago, um, because of a phrase that they said, and we kind of went back into a back and forth. And I found out that because I blocked this person because of that phrase, someone called me racist. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, if that's what you want to think, okay, that's fine, but you know, with do you think that how we teach our children, like you said, you're brought up to learn the difference between right and wrong. Well, don't bullies know the difference between right and wrong? And I'm not just talking about the schoolyard ones. I'm talking about bullies who grow up to be adults and they're just bullies. So
Mhm.
I mean, are they seeing themselves through other people's eyes? I mean, do you think that they do not see that, wow, you're really just being a dick? I mean, do you
Mhm.
think that they see that? Do you think that they are, that they're seeing themselves through someone else's lens?
Yeah, well, this the phrase I'm thinking about straight away is like there are two types of assholes in the world, ones who know they are and ones who don't know they are, and I've come across both. And it's the assholes that know they are, that they're the worst, because it's like they're playing, they're they know what they're doing. But in regards to like the online bullying stuff, like I would say that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in, and I've tried to explain this stuff before on your show, and it's really hard to put into words. And of all the guests that I would love to have on my show one day would be a psychiatrist, because ultimately, if you're a psychiatrist in this world, you're going to know, how the world is run. I think with like advertising and all that kind of stuff, and how it affects the human mind. And with bullies, let's say in the classroom, or even in later life, whatever, they're I would say that these people have seen bullying in their childhood, whether it's their father bullying their mother bullying the father. They've seen some sort of bullying, and they're just copycatting. And I know I put that excuse out there a lot, because I do think if you look into some of these, I think we used the example of like Jeffrey Dahmer, and you brought up the one with the two brothers, that one ended up being what was it again?
Carrie and
Yeah,
Stephen and Carrie and Stephen
yeah.
Stater. Yeah,
So
one of
so
them ended up being a serial killer.
I know this rule doesn't apply to all cases, but I can almost guarantee through what I've learned is that if you take some of these serial killers or some of these bullies in real life, if you looked into their upbringing, there would be evidence of that stuff in their childhood that they've seen, and they see that as the norm. So whether they know they are or they don't know they are would be probably on the extent of what they see as normal behavior. So if their mother and father were consistently bullying each other every day, then there's more chance that the bully wouldn't know what he was doing, because he just thinks it's normal to bully people. He thinks he's just being a normal person. But then there are the assholes that know they're assholes, and they're playing on it, and they're just like doing it for reaction and for some drama.
Okay. All right. Now, Cap says, I think if most people told the truth, they would be sectioned. And Brina says, bullies are really broken. Sadly, they act that way because they haven't, they haven't had love in their life most of the time. All right. So I have a question about this. I do believe that most bullies have issues dating back to when they were younger. But what about the ones that follow the crowd? What about that one person that wants to be in with the in crowd where that bully just happens to be what you think that person is in the in crowd, so you become a bully yourself? So, and I know this conversation is going in a completely different direction, in which I knew that it would. So, you know, are you looking at yourself? I mean, are you? I mean, would you comprehend how other people see you, whether you're following that bully in high school or whether you're following that bully who is on the job? I mean, what do you think?
What do you mean that saying about like you get tarred with the same brush? Like if you're hanging around with bullies, then you're going to be tarred as a bully, and would you care? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
no. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to reach for something. Okay. No, what I'm saying is that if if you're a bully and and your sister's not, okay, and she sees, everyone's hanging around you, and oh, they think Bob's just so cool, and but you are the bully. You are the bully of the group. And here's your sister, this really nice, sweet person, whatever, and she starts to take on your habit. She starts to bully people. So, is she looking at is she looking at herself through, how do I want to say this? Okay, put it like this. Are all bullies necessarily homegrown, meaning that they got it from childhood? Can't you learn to be a bully? I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Mm, that, that's a tough one. I would tend to go with the first option, that they're homegrown. I think we are what we see, whether it's our parents, whether it's that word that you hate, but we're taught in some way to be what we are. So Yeah, I would say,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a tough one. Because there are the exceptions to the rules, and but majoritively, I would say that we learn our behaviors through one of those outlets.
Okay. All right. And it's interesting. Chill, I'm coming to you, but it's interesting. Cap said, everyone is a bully. It's just when you use it. Mm, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. And welcome, mate man, and welcome DERXTBAP. So chill. I'm going to let Ba off the hook and welcome, welcome. Do you have something you
What's
would like to
happening,
say?
man? What's happening?
I just said welcome, welcome. Good
Okay,
Lord.
okay. What's up, y'all? For the most part, I got the question, the beginning of the question, and of course, people learn to be bullies? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They learn to be bullies. Where do you think we learn it from? From our mamas or daddies?
It
Medea, them,
could be.
mama, them,
Your
Medea,
mama
Medea,
and her
and them.
daddy, your mama and
Yeah,
daddy could have been a bully.
yeah. When they beat your butt, that's bullying. But it might be for a good reason, you know what I'm saying? So we don't know how to bully, and you're right. Like some people we gonna bully, and some people we ain't. The bully ain't gonna bully certain people. The bully learns his bullying is from somewhere else, right? So a lot of times, it's like a lot of guys that get bullied, they come to go to school and then do what they see, what happens to them at home or in the street or whatever. So yeah, of course, bully can be learned, and just because you don't utilize it, like Cap said, don't mean you can't do it. And sometimes you need to be a bully. Sometimes you need to step up. Hey, you messing with such as you might be defending, and then you might see that person, and you just like to set them in their place every once in a while. You might not naturally be a bully, but when you see that bully, you want to just pick with him just so he know his place every once in a while. You know what I mean? So you become a bully to some degree for a reason. So yeah, you can learn how to do that.
So, so let me ask you this, Chill, and I'm being very serious, but I know you're going to take it the opposite way. How do you think people see you? I mean, do you think that people? I'll just leave it there. How do you think people see you?
Mm. Me personally, my
And I'm
how
not
people
talking
see
about
me.
Sweet Willie.
No, no, I ain't talking about Sweet Willie neither, man. Nah, nah, nah. That's what the ladies call me. Nah, I don't see myself like that. But no,
Oh,
people, I don't. That's a. I think it typically. All right. I'm a slow burn. I'm an acquired taste. That's what I can say.
mm.
I'm an acquired taste. Typically, I rub people the wrong way. Well, half and half. Some people get it, some people don't. And when it's always scary when somebody gets you off bat because you want to know that they have the right perception. Sometimes when people get you off bat, they think they know you and they don't know you to complete you. So that's dangerous. But people who tend to get to know me, they kind of like they warm up to me. Like, oh, this guy's not such a jerk after all, or he's not just an idiot at all. Like typically, you might come off, oh, this guy's an idiot. But they find out that he ain't that bad. He ain't as an idiot as I thought he was. But I think people typically think that I'm at least straightforward. For the most part. For the most part, um, if you ask certain people, they may not. You know, they might not think Sweet Willie is, but for the William, they think I am. They think what this is me personally. They think I'm fine. And that's a good ass question because how people think they're perceived to opposed to how people really are perceived. There's so many varying questions because of the world, and people. But overall, I think I'm perceived in a so-so manner. If I had to put a label to it, in a so-so manner.
It's interesting that you say, when people make assumptions, when they first meet you, because I do believe, when people, what do they say? When people first see you, that's usually what they think. Do you think um, that people uh, automatically assume the worst of people when they first meet them without giving them the benefit of the doubt, or do you think it's more of a positive?
Absolutely, they do. That's just life. You know, negative like that Chris Rock slap was heard around the world in a matter of .9 seconds. Everybody had it on their phone. The last time Will Smith donated $1 million to that donation or whatever, he probably still don't know about it today. So that's just how the world is. And uh, uh yeah, I, I don't know. That's yeah. I mean, I don't want to keep. That's a whole nother elaborate. I can get deep into that, so I'm just
So
leaving it at that.
so would it bother you if someone saw you in a negative light that was not in your inner circle? And your inner circle could be your
No,
family or friends,
no,
whatever.
no. I tell this story all the time. I That's a must. You have to be able to. First of all, to it don't bother me at all. It just doesn't. You got to be able to run your own race, and when people don't understand it, don't worry about it. People who worry about the Joneses are some of the worst people, I think, to me sometimes. Like, because you're basing your success off of whatever the people think. You don't even know yourself at that point. Most people that I know that do that don't even really know what they like. They don't know what they want, or if they do, they hide it. They're super embarrassed and they think everything is, oh, I don't want to say because I don't want to be judged. And I'm like, man, that's the worst. That's the worst. I can't do that. I can't do that. And I don't trust people with that. I don't trust people that do that. I just don't, because I trust a person that's quirky, right? That's awkward, that may appear to be on the spectrum and maybe not because he's just comfortable with himself. Now, they might be misfits or like weirdos out in real life, but actually, I'm okay with that because they're being themselves. The little quirks, whatever. I'm okay with that. But the people who seem to be perfect, them the people I'm scared of them people. It's too perfect. It's impossible. And then really you're thinking you're too perfect, but I'm not even looking for you to be too perfect. So really you're not. You're super imperfect. And you searching for perfection in front of me is a classic sign of being not perfect because you're hiding something. So you can't appease to everyone. So I mean you just got to do you, and if that's you, that's fine. But overall, you got to be able to run your own race. If I'm walking, like I'll tell my daughter, like I might be caught walking to the store on my hands and back and forth all the time. People talk about me to the blue in the face, but I'm okay with that because they don't know if my legs don't work, I'm getting the shit done. You know what I'm saying? So it may be weird and maybe awkward and it's fine, but you got to have that to be successful. Definitely, the most like the entertainers, the Michael Jacksons of the world, or just the artists of the world. They all have that because you can't, because they're gonna be telling you can't do it. Who is you? Who you think you is? You think you Michael? You know what I'm saying? Think about how many times they hear that until they become successful. So you gotta believe in yourself, and not worry about that. I mean, to some degree you will because you don't want to be a jerk in front of people or you want to be a pedophile. Certain things you don't just want to be known for, if that's the case. But somebody having a certain opinion about me and not that they haven't met me, guess what I think about those people? You're a douche. You're a dick. You're the person I do not want to know or in my circle or in my life. Because thank you for being that way because you weeded yourself out and I'll move on. And then when you hear somebody tell you good things about me, go ahead and be surprised because you're the idiot. Because it will come around, at one point or another if we're in the same circles.
Okay. All right. Bye. I'm going to have you respond, but I just want to look at some of these notes. I'm starting from the bottom going up. Let's see. Cap says, I fully agree. He has made comedians question their movement now. Will it be okay to slap another on stage? You have a point there. Let's see. Frankie says, people think I'm stupid because I'm mute. You are not stupid, Frankie. Let's see. Who is Brina? Who are you responding to? I'm just looking at some of these notes here. Okay. Sticking up for yourself and being a bully are two different things. Oh, okay. I was responding to Brina. Okay. because she had said, yeah, when it comes down to sticking up for yourself, it lays dormant
That was
until
what
it's
I
needed.
think she was talking about me when I was saying sticking up. That's what I meant, though. I know people who can stick up for others, right? But like I said, I'm thinking about my cousin when I think about that. She was like, she wasn't a bully, but when she ever seen a bully, she would just mess with him just off GP, because she knew he was a jerk, and she just would just do that. Like, I just remember us being girl, like, when you're little, like 8, 9, we all about the same. So actually, sometimes women are just bigger, just flat out, and they can beat you up. And then that was one of those situations that we would see the neighborhood bully, and she would just chase him down the street just cause they want to just just to kind of bring him back down to earth. And that's her being a bully, but she wasn't naturally a bully at all, So, and she was a defender, but I don't know that at that egregious point she becomes a bully, you know. And yeah, Caps, I think you're right about the Chris Rock thing, but yeah, you got
Oh,
to
Chris
to
Rock,
pay for your consequences.
that's a whole different
As far
show.
as Well, yeah, yeah. As far as consequences, like it can be consequences what you do or say, either way. So I mean, whether you agree with it or not, it can be consequences for it.
Okay. All right. So, Haba, I'm going on to my second part of my question. Should we change? If everyone is saying, you are, this, you are just so silly. You are just, every time you're always playing jokes, whatever. Can you ever be serious? Whatever. You're just so silly. Should we change? I mean, when other people are saying all this about us, and some people may be saying this, people may be saying the same thing. Should we change?
So that's a tough one, only because there are people who should change and take the advice of others, but there's also people who shouldn't change and not listen to people who just want you to change because it'll suit them. Um,
Okay, can I stop you for one moment? I'm gonna throw
okay.
your nanny into it. You said that she
Okay.
doesn't when you come into the house and she stares at your beard, right?
Yeah.
So would you shave your beard just to make her happy every time you go to see her?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
Although, because I love my nanny that much, I would probably trim it. That's as far as
okay,
I'd go.
okay, okay,
But yeah, yeah.
okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to ask that.
No, I just again, I apply what I said at the start of the show is if my wife sat me down and said that I needed to change in a certain way because it was causing a problem in our marriage, then I'd certainly take that on board. But if it was someone at work saying you need to be a bit less. I don't know. Like, I'm terrible at thinking of analogies, but you know what I mean. If someone, a friend or a colleague, or someone that's even less than a friend, came up to you and said, "Look, I think you should do this and change," then sometimes it's beneficial to listen. But if you're hearing the same message over and over again from different people, that's when you kind of have to think maybe it is me and maybe I do need to change. Um,
But
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 even if you are but even if you are hearing the same thing over and over and over from the same people, or the same thing over and over and over from different people, is it necessarily you? Could it be them and maybe their
yeah,
perception of you that they're wrong?
yeah.
That
No,
is actually them?
I've definitely encountered that kind of stuff, especially with, when you get into, the stuff that we talk about, societal stuff, politics stuff, and you hold some strong beliefs, and then people, they have offense to it, but and they're trying to make you change. To me, then, because I would say that these people are maybe less educated on a subject. I'm thinking more about my friends, because they're not into this kind of stuff. They're not into politics or philosophy or how the world works. So if they're coming to me saying, I think you should take some time off and just switch off from it all because you're becoming a bit too serious, then I would be like, no, that's your opinion. I'm very happy in, learning about the way the world works and all that. And just because you guys maybe don't like it, You know, I can switch off when it's friend time, but when I'm at home and I'm posting things on social media and you maybe don't like it, then that's where I would draw the line and say, no, it's you've got the problem, not me. So again, this is like the subjective thing that I'm not very good at, where each criticism or thing that's said would have to be taken in isolation, and yeah.
So, do you think that we as a society should be careful about what we say to other people or how we say things to other people, because you never know how they react? And what I mean by that, I mean, if you consistently laugh at someone because of the clothes they wear, or you are just ugly, or you're this, you're that, and then one day they don't come to work, or they don't come to school, and you find out that they've, you know they killed themselves or something.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
so does that affect people?
I think the emphasis should be more on the how you say something, not what you say, because I think that's been, since I've been on your show and all the people here, we've always promoted, and well, I've learned this from you, to be respectful at all times, and I think that's the key. The best message that I'm going to promote for the rest of my life is when you're having these debates, or even just talking in general, is how you word what you're trying to say, because ultimately, should we self-censor ourselves? It could be sitting in a room with a friend and he could stink, and you're like, dude, you stink, go have a shower. Or you could word it a bit more respectfully and say, you know I don't know, because that's how I would talk with my friends anyway. I would just say, "Go for a shower, you're stinking." But you know what I mean. There's ways in which we can put our points across, and I think that's where a lot of people let themselves down, because we can still have the end results, we can still have those great quality conversations and get results, but not if you're gonna, you know, just seek to offend. If you're just gonna jump on it on a podcast, or jump on social media and start tweeting and typing away to try and piss people off and offend them, you're not going to have a lot of success, I don't believe. I'm sure you've had people come into your show and they've got no patience. They'll write a crazy remark trying to piss people off, and then they'll eventually leave. And they're doing a disservice to themselves as well, because they're not going to have those great conversations that maybe change their own minds, or get to the root cause of why this is happening. And that's what I've certainly tried to do. So yeah.
Well, and I would even say that, not even necessarily to change someone's mind, but I think that they're just missing out on just having a great talk with different people and just hearing what other
Yeah.
people have to say. So, Chill, I am going to pass you for a moment, and go to Crucible Man. So, welcome, Crucible Man. You have the mic.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I joined late, so if I'm trotting over old ground, just give me the heads up. I think, as far as how we are viewed by other people, I've always thought, because it's always helped me in my life, that self-awareness is probably one of the greatest gifts that a human being can have, because it is so useful in so many situations. There's an old saying, there's a couple of them. One that comes to mind is, to thine own self be true. And that's where you've got to have a lot of confidence in your convictions and your beliefs, because if you don't, and you are subject to external criticism, even from people that you don't know very well, you kind of wind up being a leaf in the wind, and you don't really stand for anything anymore. You stand for whatever the person who you're sharing the room with or the space with, because you're terrified to express what you really believe. But these days, we've got a very fragile culture that we live in. It's a cancel culture, and you've got to be very careful. I think, we depending on the situation, I think Bob was making a couple of analogies, maybe at work or in a relationship. We have to evaluate each situation independently. If somebody sat me down at work and said, you're in danger of losing your job because of X, Y, and Z, whether it's your attitude, whether it's your punctuality, whatever it is, you're going to lose your job. I would be crazy not to take that seriously and try to fix the problem. If my spouse sat me down, like Ba referenced, and said, look, we're in trouble here. You either correct these behaviors or we're done. You have a decision to make. If it's important enough to you, you will change. But if it's just people launching criticism at you blindly, you have to know yourself better than that, because everybody's offended these days. And like Ba said, and you've been saying, Solid, tone matters. Respect people. It's not so much what you say, it's how you say it, where you say it, and when you say it.
Okay. Let's see. Mate man, you have the mic.
Hello. Yeah, I'll agree with Crucible Man. People are very fragile. As for the analogy that you made about someone you making fun or people making fun of a certain individual, and you find out they don't show up to work or they didn't show up to school and they off themselves. Well, I, I'm me. I laughed when he said that because someone I found it funny, and that's just it individual. I'm not trying to make fun or pick on the individual, but life isn't all sunshine and rainbow. They grew up with a false sense of what their perception of life is, and when you're out in the real world and you see what life is about, it's either you adjust or you become a victim. So I know not everybody has a strong mind or all of that strength to keep up and keep going and push forward. But what I would say everybody should know is or live with this philosophy. The race is between yourself. You don't have to compare yourself with other people or individuals. At the end of the day, the race is long and it's only with yourself. You determine, you dictate what your moves are and how far you go. People are always going to talk shit, but at the end of the day, it's going to be you.
I agree with some of what you what you say, but I think that when I mean, I understand about going out into the real world. Believe me, I understand about going out into the real world, and there's a reality there. But when you're in a room like this, just a virtual room, whatever, there's nothing wrong with asking, you know, or insisting that there's a level of respect that you give the other person. It's not hard. All we're doing is just talking. No one has to, diss someone else or say something nasty to someone else, whatever. We're just sitting around like the kitchen table and we're all talking. Now I understand when you get out into the world and the real world, it isn't fair and it can be mean and it can be nasty and it can be messy. Yes. But once again, if you're just, like if you were to come into my home, I don't want you coming into my house, dissing people. There is a certain level of respect that I insist that you have, or else you will not be in my home. And the way I see, again, something like this, like a podcast or something like that, we're all in this room, we're all listening, we're all talking, and there's a level of respect that you should have. Mate, you want to respond to that?
And I totally agree. I'm not gonna dispute what you're saying, but there are things that I think people should understand. Like you're giving a person a false sense of hope. All right, all right, we're here talking, and a certain individual they're talking their opinion and they're talking maybe rubbish, and sometimes there's no good way to tell a person that they're just talking utter rubbish. And if you're trying to be nice and explain to them and they're having this stubbornness and trying to validate their point, and we're being all merry and all of that cheerful, and let them think that all right, what they're saying is actuality or it makes sense. And when they go outside and they state that same opinion that they made here, and the difference, the backlash, what they're gonna feel from outside individual, they're gonna be like, all right, so apparently maybe the podcast, the people are fake because they didn't call me out on this, or they're soft individuals or whatever. So for me, I don't know. I'll call bullshit when I see it. I'll ignore it if, because I also have a philosophy. Sorry, that it's not everything you can acknowledge or speak on. Certain things you can leave alone. If you don't have anything good to say, you shut up. I do have that also, or I'll laugh to myself and ignore it. So that's all.
Okay, and I understand that, but whether or not what you think is BS to you may not think is BS to them, or was BS to you may not is five other people in this room may not think that is, may not think, that there's anything wrong. I mean,
That's the appreciation of opinions, though. Sadly,
I mean, right, but okay, Caps, I am coming to you, but I just want to make this one last point. Okay, so last week Balram hosted the show and he was talking about flat Earth. I think that the Earth is round. Okay, but I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you're wrong, or this and this and this, and that is complete BS, whatever. I'm not going to do that because he had things that supported what he thinks, whatever. Oh, okay. But I'm not going to, I didn't leave the podcast going, oh my God, Bahram, what the hell is he thinking? I mean, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just saying that when you're in a room with someone, and if you're just sitting there talking, there's nothing wrong with having a level of respect. And I'm just saying that whether you think that someone is right, whether you think someone's wrong, is still that level of respect. That's all I'm saying. Just the respect factor. Not you have to believe me, not the BS factor, whatever, just the respect factor. Not even the tone factor either. It's the respect. So, Caps, you have the mic. Thank you for waiting patiently.
Dum, dum, dum. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing very well. Now, I was going to speak about, hello, Angie. I hope you're doing well, you Scottish bastard. Yeah. But, sorry. But yeah, like, the point being is, I'm only joking, by the way. I love you. Now, I've got a question for you all. Like, I suppose everybody's been in this situation. I'm sure. Now, I'm at work and I've got a new person and they're on a machine. They're old, man. I'm not being discriminating the elders, Sorry, Angie. No, but I'm only joking. but like seriously, he's getting a little bit like narky. Like he's getting like there's simple little things that I ask him to do. No, I don't ask. I always ask because obviously like there's certain things that you need to abide by in work. So I've guided him, and so I've let him carry on. He's 50 odd years old, so he's obviously he's doing his thing. But anyway, so I'm not no bully. I'm there to help you all the way. So it's my section, for fuck's sake. So like I'm the team leader, I'll carry on and do my thing. So 6 months have passed, and he keeps doing silly little things like putting things where they're not meant, contaminating things. And when you contaminate, you literally you're costing the company a lot of money, like as well. And I get the blame for it. So I'll just give him a word of, and I just said, listen, mate, I said, you can't do that. I said, you can't do it, honestly. And I spoke to him. I was courteous to him. I weren't disrespectful to him. I weren't a bully. Hello, Michael Key. I weren't in any way, shape, or form disrespectful to him. And he understood, and he went, "Oh, sorry, I made a mistake." And I said, "No problem." But to not being funny though, every week, or like I didn't come in Monday, and you've done it because I'm not in. but you kept it up for about 2 weeks. But like every other week, you're doing it. I said, it's really important because the cost, it's. And he was like, no, okay. And I said, okay. So he'd done it again. And I was like, mate, I said, listen, bro. I said, you keep doing it. I said, please, can you stop? Can you refrain from doing that? It's getting to a point where like I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to move the stuff away from you. And I said, no problem, like. And he went, oh, and he walked off. And he was like, he told the gaffer. The gaffer was like, no, he's right. He said, you're costing money. I said, don't do it. And he's got in a hissy fit and that. And then my gaffer come up to me, like the CEO, come up to me and goes, oh, listen, just let him know that you weren't being funny and that. I went, yeah, I will. So I've gone up to him, I went, oh, you're up, pal. How you doing? And he's gone, oh, you're shouting at me. And I went, whoa. And this was yesterday. And I went, what? And I went, what do you mean? I'm not shouting at you. I said, I'm just telling you, please do not do that. He went, no, you're shouting at me. And I was like, oh my God. And thankfully, the gaffer walked right round the corner as he was shouting. And I was laughing. I had to start laughing because I felt like I wouldn't hit an older man. I wouldn't act like an idiot. I've gone past them times. So it just shocked me for his reaction. And I was like, oh my God, he can't accept the factor that he can't be told, like not even be told, directed. It's like he can't take it, and he had to get sent in the office and get told by the bigger boys because I'm just here to help you, man. And what do you think about that anyway? I'm gonna shut up.
Does anyone want to take that one?
No, it's hard though, isn't it? It's like
It's that's an old dog. You can't teach them new tricks. You just gotta let them
yeah,
go.
man. It's so sad because I don't want to disrespect him, but look, come on, man. Like he's done many things. He uses certain like appliances, and people like I tell him clean it, and I think he thinks I'm getting at him when I'm like, yo, if you use that, clean it. It's like, and he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm like, clean it every time you use it, and like I don't even use it, but I always check. I make sure it's good, and I'm like, who's done that? And I put a notice on the thing saying if people do not clean their shit up, then I'm gonna chuck the microwave in the fucking skip because I couldn't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're at work. It's like, don't mess around. Like, I'll allow you to do that shit, and I don't mind when you do it. But if you carry on, I'm gonna chuck it in the fucking skip. And my mate had to do it because he's like, oh, no, use that. Because I don't use microwaves. I don't, but I brought one and it's mine. I brought it just to help my people. Do you know? And it's like, if you take the piss out of a situation, then I'm sorry, but you're going to have to pay the price. And is that a bully? Being told when you keep fucking up.
Okay. Chill.
Man. Okay.
Everyone said a lot, so jump in wherever you want.
Okay. Well, what up, Cass?
Yes, my brother from another mother. I hope you're doing very well.
I'm good, bro. I think in that scenario with Caps, it just it depends on the proposal. If it's like, I don't know, I know you, Caps, so I need to be abreast with this situation because I know you. I'm not saying that you're a dickhead, but you can come off as one at times, right? So it's the same thing with me. It's just how it is. And not that we mean it. Like some people, obviously there's just true blatant disrespect. If I call a woman a B, call a woman a H, call William saying whatever. If I, but then outside of that, like Byram said, my mate's stinking, and he said, I'm gonna say, hey man, you stinking, go wash up.
Mate, seriously, I don't, I do. Sorry, but I do. Chill. I'll leave a bottle of deodorant next to their section or next to them, and they take it. I've done that because you approach it in a different way. It's all about approach, is it not? you could say you're a smelly bastard, but some people don't kind of take that as a good thing, do they?
Yeah, but
You have
if
to do
it's
it in
typically his friend, I'm thinking like, well, you know
Oh,
your
if he
friend if
was
you would
our
take a
friend, I'd
certain
be like,
ways,
you're
but
pen and inking, go and have a bath, you smelly bastard. But everyone else can't take that shit, can
right. And that's what I was saying. I was getting to like it depends on your friend, but typically the respectful way is, man, say, hey man, you stinking, go wash your ass.
they?
Like that's the most respectful. That's what I would say. Like that's the respectful way to say that because it it depends on the
Yeah,
situation.
chill.
Sometimes
Can I
people
ask
know
you
they
one
stink and they just
question really
still do it.
quickly? And it's to do with the same thing.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
if someone
Go
had
ahead.
a boogie on their nose and you're talking to them, or like some like sleep in their eye, or something wrong with their face, or ash on their nose, would
A
you, as a
boogie.
person, let them walk a bogey? But would you let them walk away and meet other
Caps,
people, or
caps.
would you say?
Can
Would you
I
say
answer that
sorry,
one?
sorry, solid? What would you say? I would.
This is
Go
what
ahead, Solid.
I. This is what I say. I say you have a visitor.
Yeah, basically, fuck
Mm.
me. Yeah, I'd be
Mm.
worried.
And when I say that, people know what you mean,
That's
especially if
awesome.
when
Visit
so
up.
and that is something
Where is it?
that 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 is something that my mother used to tell us all. You have a visitor, and we had to go get a tissue, and we knew exactly what she meant. So
But you know what, Solid? That's too much energy. Like sometimes it's cool, like to learn that. That's awesome. But sometimes it ain't that. The hell with that. I ain't got time to listen. I don't tell
No,
me
but
what I need to know.
I
okay,
can't
okay,
stand
but
there and wait.
okay,
I
but
can't stand there and
chill.
wait. I
I
can't be
don't, I
looking
don't
at it.
want
I'll
to
be like, wipe your
exactly.
nose, you dirty ass bastard.
I don't want to look at that.
Yeah,
So what are you gonna
exactly.
do? You gonna sit there and you just gonna watch it? I mean, I don't want to look.
Yeah.
So go and tell them that,
Yes.
and they'll go take care
You
of
know
it.
what I mean? I'll
Come
get some
Oh
on.
no.
tissue.
I'm not saying I wouldn't tell them. I'm talking about the weight. Like I'm saying, you're skilled at telling. That's the skill
What
to
you know?
be able
What
to
I
be respectful
genuinely
in some
say, what I say,
situations.
yo, mate, and I go like this. I literally look in the eyes and go, and I touch my nose and go, you got something on your nose, and I don't have to, and that's it. Yeah, or I'll go, yo, bro, you got something in your eye, and I'll be like, go toilet, and they'll be like, oh, I've got it, and it's like all over the face.
Well,
I'm
if
like,
you
oh,
I
you
get.
ain't
if you
fucking
have
got it.
something
Just go
in your
toilet,
eye, I mean, if you have something,
fucking tramp.
if it's the eye, then I would just say you have something, in your eye, whatever. But you're talking
Yeah. See,
about
that's
your,
easy.
but
When
you're
somebody
talking about your
smells,
no. Well, even if you smell, I mean, I would say,
well, what I guess I'm trying to say here is that sometimes there's no easy way to say certain things, like Bob was saying, and so the respectful way to tell you that your friend stink is say, "Hey, bro, you stink." That's it.
Well, all right, chill. Do you think it's
So,
bullying if you walk on another section in a workplace and fart and walk away, and then everyone
Oh,
thinks
come
that
on,
they're
guys.
farting?
Come on. Let's move it on. Let's move it on. Caps, you are muted. You are
I'm
muted.
sorry.
You are muted. Okay, you are muted. I
but
am chill. Do you have anything else to say? I am going to buy. So you have anything else to say?
well, yeah, well, I don't know if I should. say nothing. I ain't say nothing as of yet, but overall, I but my whole point was to make is that it definitely depends on how you say certain things, but for the most part, I won't subscribe to that if I feel like I have your best interest at heart. You want to take how I said things a certain way, but I'll get frustrated. Say in a relationship, I'll tell you something, I'll tell you something, I'll tell you something, I'll tell you something. Or, say for instance, a true real life story. I'm in a relationship, somebody complains about loaning their mom money all the time. And you do it again, you do it the third time. The first time when you're new, oh well, maybe da 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 da, you listen, you hear it out. Second time, it's like, oh man, you did it again. And then third time, I gotta tell you that's you. It's not gonna be nice. I mean, after the third time, I'm like, well, baby, well, don't you think this is probably a problem? And at that fourth time, it's like, okay, listen here, I don't want to hear this shit because you kept telling me like you want to play the victim role, but it's your fault that you're doing it. So it depends on the levels, right? In a person, but if it's just new people, are you going to be respectful? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and should we? And to answer, should we change? It depends on the situation. If it's a relationship and you think it's a problem when somebody comes to you, say, "Hey, you joke or a little too much, or you're a little too this." If you can agree with me, only reason I want somebody to change, don't do it for me. I want you to do it for yourself. I do it for your kids next, then do it for me. In the same situation, anger problem. She had an anger problem. I would just tell you, you got an anger problem. You dogging out your kids when you get mad from work, come home from work. Now that's your relationship between you and your daughter. I can handle it. I can ignore your ass. How about this? I'm about to leave. I love you. I can know how to handle you. But your kids, they can't go nowhere. And you taking that shit out on them. Now I have an exception to it. If you don't think it's a problem, that's on you. But if you do think it's a problem, let's fix it. And so that's when I would change in the situation. But other people around me, if they feel like I'm brash or something like that at certain times, it might be meant to be that way. And that's their problem, not mine. The question is, when is it their problem and when is it your problem? When should I change or when should you change? You know what I'm saying? Because not trying to do nothing but be myself. I need to be myself and be comfortable with myself. And if you feel like you're being yourself, I don't want nobody to change. Be your damn self. And I appreciate you for who you are. But yeah.
Okay. Ba, you have the mic.
Oh, I've just been listening, and I don't, I don't really know what to say. I suppose what Cap said about that guy he's working with. There are people who are set in their ways, and they can cause problems between the younger generations, and we would call these people sticklers, where they're just set in their ways, and that phrase that I think Maid said about you can't teach an old dog new tricks is sometimes isn't, and it can be a fault. When you're trying to train people or teach them the way the world is now, the street smart stuff and how it is on the streets now. um I certainly struggle with that with my grandparents, and teaching them how phones work, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the respect thing is key. Yeah, I think I'll just pass the mic. I don't know. We're going over all ground, I think.
Okay. I'm going to start wrapping it up because I'm going to start wrapping it up. So, Crucible, we've talked about boogies and some of everything else. Do you have anything you want to add before we wrap it up? Any last words?
Well, first of all, great show as always. Thank you for having me. Good to hear everybody again. I think what we're talking about here in a lot of these things maybe comes back to common sense, which a lot of us know is not so common these days. But there's really never going to be any one size fits all as to how we handle these social situations. You've really got to trust your instincts. You've got to trust your gut. That's where I was said at the beginning, self awareness is a precious gift. But these things are usually situational, and it's up to the individuals to read those situations. And what might be hey, mate, you stink, you go have a shower, would not be appropriate in certain situations. Being a little bit too tactful, beating around the bush or dancing around it may not be effective either. So it's a high bar to clear these days because I don't trust people's judgment very well. We're all a little bit too thin-skinned. But I think if you take each individual situation separately and evaluate it depending on the consequences to be dealt with, if you don't fix the situation, they're all case by case things. If you go into any situation saying this is always how I'm going to handle it, you're probably going to make some mistakes. So do the best you can, treat people with respect, be kind, and trust your judgment.
May, thank you, Crucible. May, you have the mic.
Yeah, I also agree with what Crucible Man said. Yeah, you have persons that don't know their situations, they don't know what's going on with them, and if there's someone approachable, you can take them aside and have a conversation. Depending on how it goes, then you know how to approach that certain individual on a daily basis until things change. But if that person chooses to get rude or whatever, then yeah, you have sorry, you have all right to put them in them place. So yeah, but hello everybody, nice talking as always, and look forward to seeing you.
Okay. Caps, you are allowed to
Right.
speak now. You have
Thank
the
you,
mic.
thank you. You know what? It's been lovely to actually have a normal podcast, and I don't disrespect your show, and I thank you ever so
I know you
much.
don't.
And I try not to. I know I talk a little bit too much, but I really appreciate all of you, and it's lovely to hear a proper normal podcast because I can't do them kind of things. But I really love it when you used to them. But yeah, man, fucking brilliant, and honestly, Solid, you're an absolute solid. You're a good one, man, and
Thank you.
absolute brilliant show. Definitely, you're amazing. So, and thank you for letting me speak, and the respect is amazing. And like I say, once again, always when I do get on, and when I can get on, and when I see you, I'll always get on, and not just to speak. I sat in the comments for how long because I didn't want to phone in because but like I say anyway, everyone, Mode, Crucible, Chill, Frankie, Bar, and Solid, have a lovely time and a lovely week. And all of you, Angie, everyone, I love you. I'm gonna fuck off now, but yeah, enough love.
All right, Caps.
Sorry,
Thank you.
I throw profanities like they're sweets. I do.
Thank you. Thank you, Caps. All right, Jill. Going once, going twice. Last call for alcohol, Chill. You there?
Chill. Come on, man. Wake the fuck up.
Chill.
Oh.
Okay, see, you about to miss
He
you about
woke
to
up.
miss
He
the
woke up.
last
He
call
woke up.
again.
He woke up.
Come on, Chill. You have any last words?
Check 1, 2, 3. Okay, here. I do.
Oh, Chill.
Okay, cool. My bad, y'all. When I get phone calls, I lose my audio, so I gotta come in and out. Yeah. So with the booger though, it's right. Hey, Angie Poo. With the booger in your nose, I'm always I didn't ever answer that question because thank you, Caps, but I didn't really. I would
Okay,
say something. Number
answer the
one,
question. Okay, go ahead.
of course, I would say something. I'm choice for that. I've walked to the middle of the dance floor, said, "Hey, baby girl, hold on." Looked at her shoe, taken a piece of tissue off, and let her walk away because everybody sit there looking at her, laughing at her, opposed to helping her out. So that's me. That's just me. I'm not gonna do like I'm not that guy. If you got a booger on nose, I will say go check yourself. That's what I hate. That's if I'm around and I'm thinking people think I'm cute and I got a big ass booger on my nose and I see later on an hour later, like I'd be mad. I'm mad at y'all. Y'all see me work. Y'all see me right here in front of you with this booger on my nose. Ain't nobody say nothing. I don't like none of
Exactly
y'all.
what I'm
Ain't none of y'all
saying.
my friends.
Caps. You're interrupting.
I'm sorry.
You.
I'm
So
sorry.
for 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 me, that's what I would say. But my point is that I don't really care about how people say things to me if I feel like their intention is for the good. Sometimes you get frustrated, and I can see past that. Just tell me, damn, well, you got a big ass booger on your nose. Go get your shit together. I'm definitely not about to jump off a window, jump off a bridge, or or something like that because somebody told me about myself, and they felt it was constructive. So I always take intent. And I think that people should do that more because sometimes people do have your best interest at heart for whatever reason. If you don't, you just in the hell with it. But one thing you don't do is take it to the point to where it just ruins your life. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so Baram, you have the last word, so to speak.
No, just thanks again for having me on, and a great show as usual. And all the guys in the panel, thanks for communicating and being respectful, which is key. Yeah,
I know you're on
thanks,
about
guys.
me. Thank you, Bob.
Caps.
No, it's. I love the show. I love catching up with you guys, and these shows are always good. So hope see you tomorrow. And my show is actually tomorrow. I forgot, and it is 7:30 UK time. I don't know what I've done, but Crucible Man actually emailed me this morning and said that it shows up as I don't know what time it says for you guys, but it's supposed to be 7:30 UK time. So like an hour and a half before your show.
But it's showing up as 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. So whatever time is showing up, that's the time that is going to pop up.
Okay.
Unless you try to force start the show and you just start it, and then everybody just finds you and they jump on. So
I'll try go delete it and restart it, reschedule it again.
Yeah, that's probably the best way. Okay, so tomorrow, I apologize. The show is I'm cutting it short. Well, actually, my show is only supposed to be an hour, but sorry, it's cutting it short because Bob Ram and I have a chat show that we are going to do in about 45 minutes. But tomorrow's show is going to be hosted by Michael Key, and he's going to be talking about Title IX, which is kind of is basically we're going to be or he's going to be talking about transgender and how people feel about transgender in like swimming and wrestling and things like that. So that's what he is going to be talking about tomorrow, and that's the topic that he chose. So on that note, everyone, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day or evening, wherever in the world you may be. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.
Where?
Caps, now you can talk.
Where
you can talk,
it?
Caps.
Where's your chat show?
No, we're going to actually pre-record it, and then we are going to post it. But it is called Friendly Differences. We've already done 4 episodes, including a chat thing that we did. And
You'll have to send the links YouTube. If you can. You'll have to, what you should do is put the links in so you can actually get people to kind of look at it and,
Okay. We will do that. But right now, everyone, all of those episodes are on YouTube. They're on my podcast. They're on Bahram's podcast. So yeah. But Caps, yeah, you made a very good point, and we will do that. And thank you everyone for coming and liking the show. And Frankie,
an amazing show.
Frankie and Power Girl, thank you for your pipings. I appreciate it. Everyone who liked the show, thank you very much. I'm trying to get up to 100,000 likes. Frankie Chill said hello.
You'll get there. Don't you worry about that. It's easy. If you carry on doing shows like this, you're going to smash it.
My kids.
Well.
Chill out. Enough love, man. I hope you do.
Okay, I'm India. Has everyone said their loves and their bromances and what have you? Okay.
Yeah, and Frankie, I hope you are very well too. Angie, I love you to bits. You know I do. Absolute amazing person. And I'll see you soon, Solid. You're absolute brilliant host. And you keep everyone in touch. And I think you're brilliant. You even keep me in touch. I feel like I'm in a fucking classroom when I'm in there. I'm like, whoa.
All right, well, go home. Take your apple.
Can we go? I ain't got a detention. Right. Oh, brilliant. See you later, miss.
Okay. Bye, everybody.